beginning this bulletin with some breaking news coming in as far as the K attacks globally and propaganda against India is considered. Now, violence at Indian High Commission in London investigation update is what we have just received. NIA has now identified 15 people and the lookout notice has been sent out. Now, NIA identified 15 people based in CCTV footage of the attack on Indian High Commission. 15 can be seen participating in the protest and vandalizing the properties. NIA has written to the UK authorities to take an action against those identified. Now, lookout circular, as I just mentioned, is the action that has been proposed. NIA has also identified 4 Khalistan supporters who allegedly targeted the Indian consulate in San Francisco on July 2nd. Another NIA team is all set to visit Canada next month as part of its investigation into the Khalistani attack on the Indian High Commission there. To give us more details about these investigations that are going to happen, I have CNN News 18's Arunima joining me on the phone line. Arunima, very good morning to you. Could you give us more details about the entire strategy that is being planned out against these attacks that are happening globally?
There are jurisdictional issues that NIA is facing. Even though under the Indian law, it is the agency concerned if there is a crime which has international ramifications. When it comes to the scene of crime being outside of India, we are dependent on our sister agencies abroad. So in the case of the Indian High Commission attack, once the case was registered, the local authorities did cooperate with NIA, the British authorities, the London Metropolitan Police. CCTV footage was procured, whatever other help was needed, that was provided. But now comes the next step. When the Indian High Commission building can be under Indian legal jurisdiction, but if there have been an attack or vandalization carried out and those accused are outside of, the Indian High Commission area, they're living in other parts of Britain, then you do require help from the local authorities there to take action against them. So that is the jurisdictional challenge before NIA, but they are trying to see what kind of cooperation they can get from the authorities there. 15 names, we are told, have been identified, and the next proposed step from the NIA is to request the British immigration authorities to issue lookout circulars against these people, which effectively means that they can't leave Britain. At every port, airport, at every border checkpost, there will be alert against these people. Whether that is issued or not, that's for the British authorities to decide.
Yeah, Arunima, as you just mentioned that 15 people have been identified, the visuals that we are showing on the screens of our viewers as well. But apart from that, let's talk about the attack that happened on Indian consulate in San Francisco on July 2nd as well. 4 people have been identified from that. What do we know about them?
Yes, CCTV footage is turning out to be a huge source of information. So based on that, identification has been carried out as to who were the people who were vandalizing or attempting to carry out some kind of an attack on the Indian consulate, Indian High Commission. This is happening repeatedly. Countries like UK, Australia, Germany, parts of United States and also Canada. So NIA is already probing how Khalistan-based organizations, be it the Khalistan Liberation Force, the Khalistan Tiger Force, there are various other Khalistan-based organizations, and there is a separate probe going on about their ultimate design, their source of funding, who are the people. So I think NIA is carrying out investigation. They will need cooperation from the sister agencies in all these countries, so that's the next step.
Well, Arunima, I want to understand from you that India was very firm about their stance on the K attacks that are happening in Canada so far. But despite of them mentioning that at the G20 summit, such incidents again popped out from Canada. Now a team of NIA is now going to Canada and are going to investigate this particular matter. What do we know about their visit and what do we know about their schedule as well?
It's still work in progress. This is something which has been proposed. It will take time, and of course, Canadian authorities will have to cooperate. If you saw the statement that came out, the readout that came out from the Indian and Canadian side, it's quite evident that the Indian authorities are not very happy with the kind of cooperation they are receiving from their Canadian counterparts. So that makes it that much more difficult for the NIA investigators. But having said that, it is also being underlined that it's a very small group of people, even in Canada, who are carrying out this anti-India propaganda, and those videos that are put out on social media also show that the number of people supporting them are minimal. That's what the Canadian authorities are also pointing out. But since these videos are in social media space, they are in public space, it makes it easier for NIA investigators to find out who are the brains behind these anti-India protests and the hate speeches that are being given. Once the identification is done, perhaps under mutual legal assistance treaties and other platforms, they can request the Canadian authorities to take action.
Well, Arunima, just for the better perspective of our viewer, I want to I want you to point out the key takeaways from the letter that has been written by NIA to the UK authorities as well.
It's still work in progress. This is not something which has been finalized yet. What has been finalized is the identification, and the request is still, it is being vetted. It is still work in progress. All that NIA is saying is that we had initially looked at the CCTV footage and the other sources of visual identification, and we had zeroed in on 45 names. Some of them were already known to NIA. In fact, on NIA's request, there were some detention as well carried out by the British authorities, but subsequently, for lack of evidence or for reasons best known to them, charges were not pressed. So now that NIA has zeroed down on 15 names, I think they will have more evidence at hand with which they are going to impress upon the UK authorities to take action.
Well, Arunima, thank you so much for breaking that down for our viewers. We'll keep coming back to you for more such events and details on that. Right now, CNN